perfect. Okay. Welcome.
Welcome.
Welcome back to the Unhinged BookCast, a podcast hosted by Jess and LJ, who love all things fantasy books. I'm LJ.
And I'm Jess, and we're happy to have you back again.
Whether we're deep diving into thoughts and theories or just riding the vibes, we love discussing our current reads with each other and now with all of you.
Tonight is another special bonus episode. We both have been listening to the audiobook for Flesh and Fire, for the Flesh and Fire series by Jennifer Armentrout.
Tonight, we will be discussing book 3 of Fire in the Flesh.
Please note that there could be spoilers for all books in the Blood and Ash series.
These are romantic fantasy books that are intended for adults. We will be talking about war, gore, and no bands dances. A lot of them.
Yeah. So this is your content warning. Our discussions are not suitable for little listening ears. We hope you are all reading along with us, and we can't wait to hear your thoughts and theories as well.
So let's discuss.
Yeah. There was quite a bit this time. I loved this book.
I did too. A little recap. So last book, basically at the end, she was taken by Colas. Well, she wasn't taken, but she agreed to go.
Attis, right?
Yeah, Attis. Yeah.
Attis. That's right.
Yeah, he was like, you should come with me. All this like
Right. He basically
madness that's going on, we'll make it stop as long as like you agree to come with me or whatever. And so she agreed because he couldn't take her because of the curse or whatever, or not the curse, the charms or spells or whatever we want to call it.
Right.
So
she had to go willingly.
Yeah. Yeah, and then this book starts with, I think it started with another dream of the White Wolf, didn't it?
I think it's like that's how the last book ended. Pretty much.
Oh yeah, so she was
so
like
it's
going
just in true Jennifer Armentrout style, it just picks right back up where the last one ended.
Yeah.
And she's dreaming about the White
was in
Wolf.
the middle of draining her or whatever, and then she's like, I'm Satoria. Satoria's inside of me or whatever.
Right, because he's just trying to get the embers out of her.
Yep.
And so that's how he was going to do that. And that's when she's like, I'm Satoria. And that was the end of the last book, right?
Yeah. And then she goes unconscious basically.
Yeah.
So my first note that I had was ash equals death and blood equals life.
Yeah.
Which I started thinking about it in like all the books like in the Blood and Ash series and just like the names of the books. Because I like to like know why books are named what they're named and stuff like that.
too.
I'm still I just feel like
it's an extra like it's like an extra clue sometimes to what's happening.
Yeah. So I thought like A Soul of Blood and Ash was the last Blood and
Flesh
Ash
and Fire book, right?
No, Blood and Ash book. Because that was the one that was just Castiel's point of view.
Right, the last one that we just read.
Finished. Yeah.
Okay, yeah, not the last one, but the
Soul
one we just
of
finished.
Blood. Yeah. So A Soul of Blood and Ash. And I was like, okay, A Soul of Life and Death.
Oh,
and
yeah.
And so so I'm like from Blood and Ash is the very first book. So from Life and Death. And just kind of like, I don't know. I kind of went through it. I'm still kind of, there's a lot of gears turning, and like this book made my gears turn like a lot.
Yes. So same.
Yep. And then, so basically, Ash comes and finds her, or whatever, and basically there's this whole war situation going on. Battle, war, whatever. And she is still basically like dying, right? Because he drained her. Yeah. And so she gets him to stop, and she's staying with Colas. I can't remember exactly what happened. Oh, so Colas takes Ash prisoner, right? Yeah.
And this is the first time that there's a mention. Sorry, I didn't put this in the notes, but this is the first time that it's mentioned of the spear and the blade is white. They don't say anything more than that.
Oh, I must have missed that.
Yep. And I don't remember though if that's how he subdued Ash or not, but it was in chapter 1. I have that in my notes. I just didn't put it down.
No, you're good. Maybe it's like one of the bones of the ancients or something.
Yes, exactly. I think that's exactly what it was. Yeah.
Anyway, so she's dying, and Cole's is like, oh shit. So he takes her to see the Siren.
Yeah.
Do you have what the dude's name is?
It's Theon. Theon.
He,
Not.
Theon?
No. Thanos.
Thanos.
Thanos. Thanos.
Thanos. Yeah.
Thanos. Thanos. It kept making me think
Thanos.
yeah.
Yeah, Avengers. Me
Avengers.
too.
There we go.
And so basically in my head, these are like mer people.
Right. That's what I'm
Yeah.
seeing too. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And he gives him over to because he can't save her, right?
Mm-hmm.
Because he is the true primal of death.
Well, and now he's
Um,
freaking out because he realizes that Satoria's soul is inside of her. So now he's like
yeah.
changed and he's like, I'm gonna do everything I can to save her.
Uh-huh.
Which he's a psychopath, but yeah.
He is something else, man. So he gives him to Thanos or whatever, or
Mm-hmm.
gives her to Thanos or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
And he takes her like underwater, and these mer people are like breathing life into her, is basically what they're doing.
Yeah.
But they basically become sacrifices.
That part was sad. It didn't
Or
make me
that
cry,
was
but
kind
that
of
part
sad.
was
Yeah,
really
it
sad.
was
Mm-hmm.
sad when I realized like what was going on. I was like,
Yeah.
oh
Because she just thought that they were like giving her air so she could breathe underwater. And then
yeah,
she realized at the last minute, like at the last one, that, and they're singing this like sad song sounding hum song thing. And then she realizes that, yeah, they're giving her ether, their life force, basically.
yeah, yeah,
Somebody says to her, water is life, and even Colas would not have his powers without the water, which I thought was kind of interesting. So,
yeah. I thought blood was life, and then water's
exactly.
life, and then now I'm so
Well,
confused
so
again.
my thinking on that is who, whoever was saying that was somebody who, I know it was somebody who's loyal to Colas, and we're
Was
just like,
it
I'm pretty
Thanos?
sure. Oh, yeah, it probably was Thanos. It probably
Yeah,
was him. Um, And so my thinking is, how many times has Colas done this, and have they had to like have the Siren had to give life to Colas at some point in time? You know, like even he would not have his powers without the water. I'm kind of wondering if we're gonna like if that's gonna come up again later, the
yeah, and I
Siren
like
and that.
I, I so I kind of wonder about that too because we go back to um A Kingdom of Flesh and Fire in the Blood and
Mm-hmm.
Ash series when we are reading our little tomb, our little history book about all these creatures and stuff or whatever. And supposedly all the Syrian died out from depression when I want to say it was like
Well,
Scion or something like that
yeah,
died or went to
yes, went
sleep
to
or
sleep.
something.
Mm-hmm.
Um, which is interesting. So I don't know.
So maybe it was that Colas overused them or something. I don't know. But I don't think that
Mm,
they're truly gone,
I don't think so
personally.
either.
I think they're coming back. I think we're going to see him again.
Yeah, I
But
think
like
so
we know
too.
that I don't think his power, I don't think the power and the life come from that. I think that comment was made to make us think, what has Colas done? What else has he done
Yeah, what
to
else?
use
Yeah, that's
them?
true.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Again, I think this is a Colas. This is like after the battle, after she comes back from the water and whatnot. And I'm pretty sure this is Colas who tells her one way or another. We learn that the revenants are death reborn, which we
Hmm.
kind of knew, but they like put it
Yeah.
into words here.
Yeah.
Because like like with Millie, we know she died, and then that's when Callum teaches Isbeth how to bring her back as a rev. So death
Yeah.
reborn. And then also the vampires are, basically, I mean, their life, they're
Well,
alive,
isn't it
but
like to make the vampires or to ascend someone, don't you have to take everything but like one drop of
their last
blood?
drop, yeah,
So would it
basically
be,
kill them, pretty
so
much.
wouldn't the revs be like they went past that? Like if like how Millie
They're
failed her ascension.
right, they're
So
dead,
basically
dead.
they died.
Hmm.
Instead of becoming Craven, we bring them back to be revenants.
Yeah, and I think that originally, well, I think we know now that originally that all started because Colas has this complex about him. He's the primal of life. He's truly the
Right.
primal of death. He stole that essence to become the primal of life from his brother, Ethos. And Ethos, as the original true primal of life, could create real life. And Colas has this, like, well, I can do it too. Like, I'm as good as my brother. So he tries to create life, and his way of creating life, the only thing he can do is create revenants or vampires.
Yeah.
And that's always like a little the thing whenever Seraphina would bring it up to him, that like you can't really create life. They have to die first. Like you're not creating life. So that's like
right.
the only way he can create life is through the revenants or the vampires. He's not creating real, true, pure life.
Pure life. Yeah. So basically, then she gets put in this chamber or whatever. Just I'm gonna call it a room, but it sounds like it's a room with like bars around it, and then like there's a sitting area outside of the bars.
Yeah.
But let's
Honestly,
just say her
this
room.
okay, so this game like is it Silence of the Lambs, or I can't remember what show I've watched where it's like this beautiful chamber of a room, but it's a cage. So it's not really like a full, it's a bedroom, but it's a cage, but it's within another room.
I think I know what you're talking about, but I can't think
I
what it
can't think of
is.
what movie that's from, but yeah.
But yeah, so okay, so this is I'm gonna refer to it as her room for now.
Yeah, sure.
But she's basically like having a panic attack,
Mm-hmm.
and she ends up cracking the shadow stone.
Yeah, which is supposedly like one of the hardest substances on
Uh-huh.
indestructible substances.
Um, and then so she gets herself calmed down, right? Okay, and then we get into chapter 6, where she's like looking around the room for what she can use as a weapon.
Uh-huh.
And I'm sorry, I don't know, probably doing dishes or something, and I'm listening to this, and all I can think of is, oh my God, they're talking about fucking glass dildos. And
That's
I
literally what they are.
died. And then, and all I was thinking was like, she's gonna either throw this or she's gonna find a way to like make it sharp and pointy and stab
Yep.
somebody with it. And sure shit, she made the glass dildo dagger, and I am copywriting that glass dildo dagger.
Yes.
And I was dead. I could not stop laughing about this
I
for
know.
whatever reason. It was the funniest thing.
But it's so her too, which I just
Yes,
loved.
right? So anyway, so she makes her escape. So who is it? Callum comes in? Sure. Callum comes in,
Mhm.
and I forgot to put this part in my notes, but Callum comes in, she knocks him out or something, or she
Oh, it is
kills
Callum.
him.
Yeah, it's Callum. She turns him
Yeah.
into Rev Burger.
Rev Burger. I don't think she makes him into Rev Burger, but she does something.
It chops him up pretty
And she
good,
thinks she
yeah.
has some time. She decides to take the key
Mm-hmm.
and toss it under her bed, so she has it for later.
Yep.
And I don't remember when she comes back, but I wanted to mention this because I know I didn't put it in my notes. So no, I'll come back to this later when we get there, unless
Okay.
you have it. But
Mm-mm.
she puts it in the cabinet with like the ladies' materials for like menstruation,
Oh, I
basically.
do have a quick little note about that.
You do? Okay, then we'll get to that when we get to that,
Okay.
because I pretty sure I know exactly what's going on.
Okay. Yep. Yeah, I
Glad
do
we're
have
on the same
a
page.
full on note on that.
Yep. But she's like running down the hall or something like that. And then she sees this lady, because there's a whole bunch of people just doing the thing, right? Okay, doing the no
Everywhere.
pants dance
Mm-hmm.
and whatever else kind of things going on
Mm-hmm.
everywhere. But she comes across this room where these people do not seem to be so satisfied with what's going on in the room, or at least this guy doesn't.
Mm-hmm.
And it's this lady, and she's obviously in like
Oh
bloodlust,
yeah.
and ends up killing this guy. So a vampire? Is this like our
Totally.
first like sighting of a vampire?
100% yes.
Okay, I thought so, but I wasn't sure.
Black eyes, I mean, talk about the black eyes and yeah.
But yeah, isn't this like Seraphina's first?
It's her first sighting of one.
Okay.
Yes.
Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
that's what I thought, but I wasn't sure. Okay, and that's all I
Yep.
have for the moment.
Yeah, so then when she sees that chick, she kind of puts two and two together of like, um, I mean, not that she doesn't know the term vampire, I don't think
Yeah,
yet, but she realizes that what Gemma, I think is her name, which
the
is one of
seamstress.
the yes, and she's
Yeah.
one of the chosen that had escaped Colus's realm and
Oh wait, yeah,
ended
yeah,
up
yeah, yeah.
in the shadow realm. Um, and she had said something about how the chosen go missing and then
Mm-hmm.
come back hungry.
Mm-hmm.
And so then she kind of puts two and two together, like, huh, is this what she meant by that?
Mm-hmm.
Yes. So, and then again, I didn't take great notes about like who was talking or how she learned this information, but we learn about what a demis is in this same chapter. This is chapter 7, which we learned about the term Demis or Demas, whatever. I think they said Demis in the audiobook. It was
Audio.
Demis. Um, but we learned about that term when they talk about Isbeth and how that's what Isbeth is.
Yeah, when Castiel's
Castiel
captured or
finds
whatever.
that
Yeah.
out that's what she is. But then they don't elaborate on what a Demis is, except for that's like a false god, I guess you could say.
Yeah.
So a Demis is when a mortal who is not a third son or daughter ascends. Which makes sense. It's just a mortal, not a third son or daughter, not chosen, doesn't have that extra like little touch of ether in them like the third sons or daughters do. So when they ascend, that's what they become. And that's exactly what Isbeth
But see,
is.
like that still confused me because wouldn't that make him still a vampire?
I don't know. Yeah.
Right?
Right? But we know that Isbeth did ascend, but yeah, she did not become a vampire.
So then this is later. I think she's back.
She is back. They captured her again. She's
Yep.
back in the cage again. She's talking with Colas.
Yep. And then
Because he keeps calling her Solus, my Solus,
yeah.
or not my, but he keeps calling her Solus. And so I think it's like the
Now has
second
she
time.
found the key and put it somewhere
The
else
key,
yet?
um, no, at this point it's still under the bed.
Okay. So so yeah, he keeps calling her Solus and she's like, what,
What
why
does
do you
that
keep calling me
mean?
that?
Mm-hmm.
It means my soul, and Colis means our soul.
Yep.
And
It's
if you
in
jump
the
over to
language of the ancients.
of the ancients, and if you
So
jump over to
the,
Blood and Ash,
right.
Solus, we have Solus and
Yep.
Atlantia.
Yep.
And now I want to know what Atlantia means, apparently.
I know, yeah. But no, I latched onto that the first time he called her Solus was like all the way in chapter 3.
Mm-hmm.
And it seems like he's talking to Satoria at the time,
Mm-hmm.
inside her when he says Solus calls, and he just continues to refer to her as Solus, and not
Mm-hmm.
Seraphine or Sarah. And he's like, yeah,
Mm-hmm.
in the language of the ancients, Lis means soul, so means my, so Solus is my soul, and Colis, co means our, so Colis means our soul. So Solus my soul, Colis
And
our soul.
it's hyphenated like that in the actual book. It's
Is
so
it?
and then hyphenated. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, I took a whole big note on that in my phone as I was listening to it, like not in the audiobook notes.
No, you're good. Like that's about all I had on that.
Yeah.
My notes are really short and to the point.
Yeah, that's fair.
And then at some point, this big old silver hawk comes in, it
Mm-hmm.
comes through the bars, and then it shifts into a naked man, which is Ates.
Mm-hmm.
And so he is the primal. Okay, so this is very important. I'm so on Ate's watch, it's not even funny.
Yeah,
So I
I
know how we
agree.
jumped back and forth between if he was good or bad, like
Yep,
the last couple times, and I'm still on like I think he's good.
I do
Um,
too.
so primal of war and accord, and he is loyal to the true primal of life,
Mm-hmm.
which would be Seraphina.
Mm-hmm.
And then so all notum forms or all primal forms, I guess is what it was. They can shift.
Mm-hmm.
Uh-huh. So guess what, Poppy? You'll be able to shift.
Oh yeah, totally.
Yes, and that's I mean, that was kind of it's kind of been confirmed, kind of not been confirmed, but now it's
Mm-hmm.
confirmed.
Yeah. Yeah.
Which means Seraphina can shift because she's the primal of life. So,
Totally.
uh-huh.
Mm-hmm.
And that's all I have.
Okay. So then we also learn from Ates in this chapter that only the primal of life can use compulsion on another primal. I just thought that was interesting.
Yeah.
Um, because up until this point, like Niktos has been able to use compulsion on Seraphina
Yeah.
because like I don't think she's fully come into that like being the true primal of life yet. But
Yeah.
and then obviously Colas has used it on Seraphina and others.
Yeah.
So only the primal of life can use compulsion on another primal.
Okay.
So I think that's interesting, and I think that's
Must
going
have
to
missed
be
that. Yeah.
important later.
Oh
Um,
yeah.
okay, and so here's the point where I think it's after Ates leaves where she goes and looks for the key, and then she
Okay.
puts it in. She's like, "Where's the one place that a man is not going to look for something?"
Uh-huh.
And she finds a basket of feminine products, of pads
Uh-huh.
basically. Like, yeah, they're not going to go looking through there to go find
Right.
something. So that's where she hides the key. And that makes her think. She goes,
She's like, I can't remember when my last period was.
when was my last period? I don't know. So I'm going on record right here, right now, chapter 8, that she's already pregnant. And I
Yep, that's
think it's
exactly what I
confirmed.
thought
Okay.
too.
I'm
That's
like, I think it's
exactly what I thought too.
confirmed later too, because I didn't have any other extra, like, I didn't put
About
down
how
extra
she's
notes about
like
this.
feels woozy and like
Woozy,
she's
more
puking
emotional. Her
and
stomach
yeah.
keeps bothering her. And then at one point, she makes a comment towards the end of the book, like, why am I just so emotional all the time? This isn't normal for me.
Yeah, or
Like,
then like how she's like heaving up her morning breakfast. I'm
right.
like, girl, been there,
She's
done that.
pregnant. She's pregnant. Okay,
It's
going
definitely
on record right
boys.
here.
We already
Yep.
know boys are the
100%. Good
worst.
grief, they are terrible.
I was so nauseous the other time with mine.
Oh, with both of mine, same.
Oh, worse. Okay, so we are both on the same page with that, which it's
Yep.
pretty obvious,
Yep,
but
it's obvious. So we're both going on record right here in chapter 8. She's pregnant
she's
already.
pregnant. Duh. Okay.
Um, okay. So then we're moving into chapter 9 here, which we're not going chapter by chapter, but this just happened. There was
Yep.
notes for each of these parts here. So chapter
Yep.
9, um, so Callum comes in to talk to her now because Ates is gone. She's back in captivity again. She's back
Yeah,
in the
and
cage.
Callum's with her a lot.
He is, yeah. And so he comes in and apparently he lets it spill that he's the one who originally sought out and told Seraphina's mom how to kill a primal. That it was,
Must have
you
been
know,
smart.
love that was going to kill a primal, and that Sarah's job was to originally his goal when he talked to Seraphina's mom, he was trying to get Niktos killed because he's loyal to Colas.
Yeah.
And so he's like, this is how she needs to do it. This will stop the rot, and this is how you kill a primal. And
Yeah.
Colas does not know that Callum did this. So this is like a little blackmail that she's able to hold over his head over and over when he's like, I'm gonna tell Colas X, Y, and Z, and she's like, oh well, I'll tell him that. You tell him that. I'm gonna tell him that you told my mom how I could kill a primal.
Yeah.
But okay, so then he also makes another little comment. He kind of seems like he's bad about like just saying things that maybe he shouldn't have said. Um, and he talks about paying a visit to her family in the mortal realms again. And I don't remember exactly how this came about, but he kind of lets it known just a little thing about how, well, he's already been invited in, so he can go and see them whenever he wants.
Okay.
Like, and I, like, if you know anything about vampires, and like, I don't know, I've watched vampire shows and read other vampire books and stuff. A vampire cannot enter the threshold of a home or a dwelling of any kind without first being invited in. And once they're invited, they can go whenever they want. And he makes it seem like he would not have been invited into a home in the mortal realm or would not be allowed into one without being invited. And he's like, oh, well, I've already been invited. I can go whenever I want. So,
Oh, I must have missed that part too.
yeah, I latched onto that because I'm like, just knowing other things I know about vampires. Not that I don't think the Revs are vampires, but it's all kind of like all of that lore and whatnot is mixed in here, I think, with each of the different creatures.
Yeah.
It seems like the Revs have to be invited in to be in a residence, which I thought
Interesting. Okay.
was interesting. I don't know
Okay.
if I'm on track with that or not, but that stuck out to me for a second. So,
Okay.
and then we go into chapter 10. So, again, don't know who's giving this information or what's happening here, but we do learn that the weapons made of the bones of the ancients. Um, So we learned about this in the last book, A Soul of Ash and Blood, but again confirmed here. They can be destroyed, so they can be destroyed only by the primal of life or of death,
Mm-hmm.
and they're basically the most powerful weapon out there against a primal.
Mm-hmm.
Um, they can even kill a primal if they are young or like just coming out of the culling, which I thought was a little terrifying. Thinking of Poppy, they say how like it can be years and years before like they come out of the culling, but it's still years and years before they come into their true power and whatnot before they can like not be killed by one of these weapons. And so up until that point, they can be. So I'm like, that makes me a little nervous for Poppy that she's just coming out of the culling. So there is this weapon out there that can actually kill her.
Bones of the ancients. So this is where, and I didn't put it in my notes, but I'll let you finish this, but I have something on this really quick.
Okay. And so the only other thing I have is like what we already knew is that the bones of the ancients can incapacitate a primal. Once it's implanted, they are unable to move, do anything, which we saw with Castile and everything. And
but it would
until the weapon is removed.
Could kill a god.
Right. Just a nick can kill a god. And with a primal, it can kill them if they're close to their culling, if they're not like mature, I guess. Or if they are more mature, it can incapacitate them until the weapon is removed.
Okay. And so like this was even more, and this like kind of goes into my thoughts for later, but Castile is somehow related to Ates.
I agree 100%. I think we have Castile the same thoughts. Yes.
Castile is a primal.
I think so too.
Or will be the primal once Ates dies.
Yes.
Yep.
Which we don't have to get too much into it now because I know you have stuff on this and I also have thoughts on this later. So we'll leave this here for now. It's not very
far, but so you go ahead on to your next note.
All right. So then I just had to throw this in there. Like, again, Seraphina's title, which I didn't latch onto too much the first time that Nikto said it in our last book, but here I did. I was like, so Seraphina's title is the one who is born of blood and ash, the light and the fire, and the brightest moon. Which we've had this, I think, debate sort of going back and forth of like, what does the brightest moon part mean of the prophecies? And it's like right there, isn't it?
And I mean, it's I go back between, is it Shakira or is it Poppy? I know her name's Satoria, but at this point it's funny to call her Shakira because I can't ever get it right. But now, of course, I get it right. It's Satoria. But yes, so we keep bouncing around of who it could be, and I think you've said it that you think it could be Seraphina, right? Or Colis, or like we've bounced.
Well, there's been a lot of different thoughts on that. I think I had Niktos in there at one point, but now I'm
so how do you what do you feel now? What do you think is the brightest moon?
I think it's her.
Okay.
I think it's her. I think it is Seraphina 100%.
I still think that in the end, like when we're talking about the third part of the prophecy, it could be the Satoria Poppy mix.
I do agree with that because now with the info we've learned through this book, I am on that track too.
And where we are at the end of this, like I think, well, we know we can get to it at the end.
We're gonna get there.
Yeah,
we are gonna get there.
So also in the same chapter, so she is speaking with Ates, and let me tell you, the gasp, I gasped. Okay,
same.
Satoria, because she's talking to Ates and she says something like, what does her name mean, or something like that.
Yeah, and then we know like, so means something. So what's Toria mean?
It means a garden or flowers, or simply put, Poppy. My pretty Poppy. Oh my fucking god. I had to pause, and I just remember I'm like cleaning a mudroom, right? And I literally sat there on my floor for like at least 5 minutes. My kids are like, "Are you good, bro?" And I'm like, dude, like, because all the gears are going here. Okay, so follow me here, because this is when I just like I got my notes out and I'm like, hold up, okay. Because then Ates says, he's like getting ready to leave or something like that, and Ates says that he will not fail Satoria again. Okay, so Ates' horse is Seti. That's what Castile names his horse. So what if in the end, because I think this is how this works anyway, and I think everybody's with me here, Poppy equals Satoria, or Satoria's soul is in Poppy. Castile is Ates, or related to, descended from.
That would be the ancestor they keep talking about. You're so much like your ancestor.
Castile. Agreed. He is also a primal and will be the primal of War and Accord, or whatever it is.
Yes.
And then, so end game love. So I'm pretty sure that Ates is like heartmates with Satoria.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
And so like in game, it will have to still be Poppy taking down Colis, because love kills a primal. Okay. Because Satoria's soul got put into the fucking star at the end of this, right? And then his bitch had the fucking star that you told me was a throwaway fucking line.
And then I went back on that.
and then we went back on that and you're like, remember that star? And I
The
went,
thing I
yes.
told you was nothing. It's something.
I think it's something. And you're like, I don't know what it is yet, but it's something. And I was
Uh-huh.
like, yes, bitch, it is. Okay, so is bitch again a bitch puts this, they find a way to put the soul in her, and they think by killing Poppy that will bring Colas back or whatever. I don't know. But
Well, they think by killing Poppy, they're gonna just kill. They're gonna kill Colas. Because
Colas,
if
they
if
think,
if Satoria's soul is gone, Colas is nothing, basically.
right. But they
That didn't happen.
failed
So,
that part because they didn't
uh-huh.
do it because she kills Malik instead because she loves Poppy.
Yep.
Anyway, yeah, so that's why Poppy was supposed to be sacrificed, but she wasn't. And
Mm-hmm.
yes,
Mm-hmm.
and
Mm-hmm.
yes.
Well, and then also, okay, so since we're here, we're going to talk about it. So
We're
since
gonna go for it.
at the end, when they're like, okay, so we'll hold on to this, Keela and Ates are like, we'll hold on to this soul in Satoria's soul in the
Uh-huh.
Star Jewel until we can, you know, have her be reborn, come of age, and all this stuff. And Serafina is like, that just is, I hate that for whoever that person's going to be who has the soul because she's going to be like me. She's going to be born simply for a purpose to
Uh-huh.
kill Colas. And that is exactly Poppy when we realize everything that's happened and everything Isbeth did and all of it. That is exactly true. She was the maiden, she was veiled, she was
Uh-huh.
everything that Seraphina was, trained,
Uh-huh.
all the things. Yes,
Yep.
yes, yes. I
Yep.
am 100% on board exactly. Had the same
And
thoughts.
still you cannot tell me that Keela, the goddess of rebirth,
Mm-hmm.
is not Willa Collins. I'm sorry, you cannot convince me otherwise.
Yeah, yeah.
And I need to know that in the next Flesh and Fire series. I need to know that Keela is Willa Collins and she is following Poppy throughout her life. She's a seer. You cannot convince me otherwise, Krista.
Yeah.
You cannot. Because who else helped Elonia entomb Malik?
Oh, yeah, I
It
know. I had
had to
to.
have the essence of a
Mm-hmm.
god.
Yeah. And all that knowledge.
Uh-huh. 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 Uh-huh.
And we don't know how old she is. We just know she's really old.
Right. So let's keep moving on to
All
like
right, cool.
some of the other things.
Yep,
Obviously there's dream walking going on because they're heartmates,
totally.
duh.
Duh.
Which you don't find out until the end, but obviously,
We
right?
got that. Yeah.
And
Mm-hmm.
then so Callum was the first red.
Yep, which we
And
knew that
then
too.
we also found out the bone lands equal, I'm assuming, Atlantia
Yes, I assume the
because they're the
same.
mortal realms. So we have the bone lands and we have Solus. So
Right,
Serafina calls it lasagna, which is Solus.
right.
But I also want to know what lasagna is.
Lasagna.
Yeah, because I think Poppy is talking with Reaver right after they get Colas. Or
Uh-huh.
maybe it's Kieran and Castile going to get I don't remember what's going on, but Reaver's like lasagna or
Yeah.
whatever. Yeah.
Yeah. It's Reaver and
Um,
Castile
because
when
I don't
they're,
think that's
yeah.
what they were called the last time I
Or
was
no,
here,
Reaver and
something like
Kieran when
that.
they're going to get Castile. Mm-hmm.
Right. So I want to know why the gang was in lasagna, and I think we're gonna find that out here
Yeah.
in a little bit.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
that's what I'm hopeful for. And then we're gonna find out about the bone lands of Atlantia, and oh, I'm so excited for what's coming next. So we should really finish. So I'm gonna let you go to your
Yep.
next note.
Okay. So then in chapter 14, just a quick little note about how I think it's Colas is telling Seraphina about how Shadowstone is
Oh yeah,
created.
yeah.
And I found this also very disturbing, so did Seraphina. That Shadowstone is created by any living thing burned by dragonfire, basically.
Uh-huh.
But not Drakenfire, Dragonfire. So the
Yeah,
Draken's ancestors, so actual dragons. So Shadowstone is basically mortals, trees, animals, plants, etc. Any living thing that gets fired by dragon fire, not Drakenfire,
not Draken,
turns
dragon.
into Shadowstone.
Yep. Yep, 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 yep.
So basically, it can't be recreated. What's there is there, but there's a lot of it. I mean,
There's a
temples
lot
are
of
made
it.
out of it and lake beds and stuff. I mean, there's a lot of it.
Weapons and
Like,
all that stuff.
what
Yep.
happened?
Yep.
What happened? Why did the dragons just like fire all this stuff and turn all this stuff into Shadowstone? I also found that very somewhat disturbing, like she did.
Yep. Yeah, no kidding. So then this is around chapter 17. I think what's happening here is Colas like finds Rain or something like that. And he has this like stone pendant or whatever. And it's Eos's, sure. I'm gonna say it's Eos's pendant of some sort. Eos, yeah, sorry. And but Rain can mind speak, or can he use this to mind speak?
He can mind speak. Because his father could. It was like an ancestral thing, basically a genetic thing. And he's not as good at it as his father and brother and all that stuff. But yeah, he can mind speak.
But they're trying to figure out like kind of where Nikos is being held, right? That was kind of the main reason he's there.
Right. Yeah. Right. Yeah. He was kind of like, I guess you could say, spying in a way.
Yeah.
Like, yeah.
And she's able to like, get him to go away because she like agrees to let Colas sleep in the bed with her or something.
Basically
like that.
Do whatever he wants with her. Yeah.
Gross. Don't worry, it didn't happen, gross. But still weird.
He's a POS.
Sleeping next to you all night.
Psychotic POS.
He's wild, man. Okay. So then, end of chapter 20, beginning of chapter 21.
Yes.
Cullum is Satoria's brother.
Yes.
Sorcius? Yeah. So it's just Shakira's.
Yes. Shakira's brother.
I wrote that right. I was looking at it afterwards. I was like, did I even write it right? Because then I was like, do I mean Seraphina? No, I don't. I mean Shakira. Okay, got it.
Yep.
So
because he keeps talking about like anytime she gets brought up, he's the one who's like, okay, because
you're not her, you don't look like her.
Because it's not Keela, but it's one of Keela's like gods that are loyal to her comes in and she can read thoughts and memories and stuff like that. So she comes in to read Poppy's mind, basically to see. Colas was like, I need to know for sure, is Satoria in there? And this chick is like, yeah, she is Satoria. She doesn't say like just her soul. She basically says like she is Satoria, and she's lying. Colas doesn't realize that she's lying, but Callum is like, no, that is not her. And then it comes out that the reason he's so grumpy about it, according to Colas, is because Satoria was his sister. And so he's really picky about like, oh, she came back in a different form. Colas wants to believe, yeah, Seraphina actually is Satoria. She's not Satoria. She's just a vessel for her soul.
Yeah.
But yeah. And so that's where we learned that. That was crazy. I was like, what?
Right. And then so we also find out like Ethos was a seer. So Colas's brother was a seer. And then I think this is when she's just talking with Callum later or whatever. But so he's saying like how he knows they're not the same person, right? And he's like, Shakira had red curly hair, like the same amount of freckles and stuff, or maybe a few less or a few more. I can't remember what he says, but red curly hair. So Poppy was made to look exactly like Satoria.
Yep.
And it's so wild. It's not even funny. Okay. So I can't wait for the book to come out because technically, just so you guys know, we're reading this ahead. Like, yes, we're like the book is out when you guys will hear this, but we've recorded this ahead of time. Anyway, so we are like dying to open up the next book. Even more now than we were. Okay. And then so she's thinking about like this star or whatever, right? And she's like, or was this in their dream?
Was this I think it may have been in their dream. I think it may have been.
But they're thinking about using the star to see if they can put
because they learned about it. They learned like that was back in when they talked to that one god dude, whatever his name was.
They thought that they could put the embers in it.
The embers in there, right?
Yeah.
Right. Because the star jewel is used either to the sole purpose of it is to hold the embers of a primal that dies if there's no one to take their place until someone comes to take their place.
Yep.
Or it can also be used to hold a soul.
Yep. And so that's what they're wondering if they could put Satoria's soul in it since the embers are basically like locked in for her.
Yeah, they're a part of her now. They're not just like sitting in her chest. They're everywhere.
Yeah.
So Colas and Callum and Poppy. I think Callum has left now and basically Poppy's asking Colas like, what's his deal? Why is he so grumpy? Yeah. Colas kind of tells her how the Revenants, they're the perfect soldier because they don't feel. They don't need anything. They don't
Mm-hmm.
need food. They don't need water. They don't need companionship. They don't need sex. They need nothing fleshly. They are
Mm-hmm.
just there. Um, However, Callum is the exception. He was the first revenant, and he does feel. So that was
Yeah.
an interesting little tidbit. Callum does need all those things, and he does have feelings. And that's what Poppy's like, okay, so the other revenants I've encountered, they're like stone vessels, basically, of just
Mm-hmm.
kill things. But
Right.
Callum has like, he's a moody teenager. What's his deal? And Colas kind of says, like, I think it has something to do with how I created him and what I was feeling when I created him. Because we learned that, so Callum is Satoria's brother. Callum has a large guilt complex because he was supposed to be with Satoria the day that she jumped off the cliff when she got terrified by Colas and died
Mm-hmm.
the very, very first time. Callum was supposed to be there, but he was off doing dude things that he shouldn't have been doing
Mm-hmm.
instead. And so he has this major guilt complex. He goes to kill Colas and ends up getting killed. But Colas has like this moment of compassion where he brings him back.
Uh-huh.
And during that moment of compassion, when he was feeling all these things for Callum, as he's bringing him back, he thinks that that is probably why Callum is the way he is. He has emotions, he has feelings, he has needs. But then Colas talks about how when he tries to, when he's, he's like, I don't know if it's truly what it was or what not, because other revs I've tried to create, I've had the same emotions or I've created the same emotions in myself, and they still come back as like stone cold killers with no emotions. And then Poppy was like, okay, obviously you are not in tune with emotion at all because you were just creating that. You weren't truly feeling it. But
Yeah.
one way or another, interesting little tidbit that Callum is kind of mortal in a way. He's got a lot more mortalness to him
Yeah.
as far as emotions go than any of the other revs.
Yeah.
And it makes me wonder about Millie just
Oh yeah.
because. So I went back and forth because I'm like, okay, is this why Millie doesn't like realize that she's heartmates with Malik because she doesn't feel emotion, she doesn't feel love, she doesn't need that? Or does she realize it, but she's trying to hide it because you can't tell me that when Isbeth turned her into a revenant that she wasn't feeling a whole lot of stuff. The reason she turned her into a revenant is because she was so distraught that she had died. So
Yeah.
you can't tell me that it was just a cut and dry, this is what I'm going to create this thing. Isbeth had to have been feeling all kinds of stuff when she created Millie. So I kind of go back and forth. I'm kind of now thinking maybe Millie does have the same kind of mortal sort of emotions as Callum does, but she's hiding it because she's not supposed to. And it's going to come out. And she's actually good.
That could make sense. I
Mm-hmm.
think she's still actually good too. I just don't trust
Mm-hmm.
Malik.
No, I don't
I
either.
think he could be lying.
No, yeah, 100%.
Yeah. So we are kind of jumping several chapters, but like
Yeah,
this is
towards the
kind of
end for
getting
sure.
to the
Mm-hmm.
end of this. And then so she is having this fight with Colas basically. And she puts a bone in Colas, but not the good kind. And then so yeah, like she's using all the ether, she's breaking down things, she sends out like massive power of ether or whatever.
She
And
finally realizes that like this embers of life are a part of her, and it
mhm,
just happens where she's like, my will is their will, and she is able to free Niktos and just wreak havoc. And
yep,
Colas is like, oh shit.
yep,
And yeah, so she
and
starts stabbing him.
yep, and she's basically fighting to the death here. And we know Ash is coming. Where Ash is coming, he's coming
Mm-hmm.
for her. So anyway, he gets to her, whatever, and I think he's able to heal her enough, but I can't remember. But anyway, gets away from him. We don't know that like if Colas is dead or alive. Like he's still alive,
He's
obviously,
in
but
stasis, sort of, because what happened was when she used the embers and so the bones around her, right? The
yeah,
cage that she's in is bones of the ancients. And we
yep,
learned that the ancients' bones can incapacitate a primal. They're not going to kill it,
yep, yep,
a primal like Colas because he's mature. And so that's what she's stabbing him with. I mean, he's got shards of this bones of the ancients in him, and then she stabs him in a very sensitive spot with one of them. And so he is like down for the count at this point. He's incapacitated, sort of in stasis because of that.
Yep. And then, because he's shown her where the star is, where the diamond, whatever.
Well, he gave it to her. He let her hold it.
Yeah. But anyway, so we get Nikos and they go back to go get the star. And they find out that his dad is in the star. Or no, so when she's holding the star, she sees that memory of
right. It's the first time when Colas actually gives it to her before this fight happens.
Yeah.
And because he's having one of his like wife beater remorse moments where he's like, oh, you made me do this. I'm so sorry. What can I do to fix this? And she's like, oh, I really want, my mom had this jewel that was really rare and I'd love to just hold something like that to remind me of her again. And he's like, oh, I've got a jewel for you. And he brings the one down
something
from
that's
the
bigger.
ceiling.
Yeah. And then so she has like this flashback and she sees Colas basically, I guess, killing Ethos or putting him in the star, whatever.
Yeah.
And
the whole thing.
Yes. And so that's when so she gets Nikos, they get the star, whatever. And then so he takes her back to this cave because now we are going to get the embers out. She's going to die, like all this kind of stuff. And all I could think about is he says, Nikos is saying how about it's like this cave with these lavender walls and stuff like that. And he goes, we're in the bone lands. We're in the bone lands. We're in the mortal realms in the bone lands. And I was like, they are in the same fucking cave.
They're in freaking Spessa's End. Right outside of Spessa's End. And he says we're on the mortal side of the Skotos Mountains.
In Castiel's little cave. That is where we are right now.
Yep. I had all these same notes. I just didn't put them down.
No, you're
I had some different details.
Like this might be slightly out of order, but I don't know. They take Ethos' soul out of the diamond. I thought they did that after.
Well, that's okay. That's way after. But so they're in the cave. All the stuff happens. He shadow steps. He goes to find her clothes. They come back. Then all the gods and everything like meet them. They go to one of the temples there. So it's like the Drakens and the gods and Keela's there and all that stuff. And then that's when they're like, okay, let's do this thing. We need to get Satoria's soul out. And then she tells them Ethos is in the star. Ethos comes out. Yeah.
Yep, they take
that whole thing starts. So it all starts with Niktos taking her to the cavern. They have their moment. And then after that, they have their big meeting in the temple. And then that's when
and that's when they take Ethos' soul out.
Right. That's when Ethos' soul comes out. And she's the one who uses the embers to get Ethos' soul out.
Yep. And then he speaks with Nikos real quickly. And that's all we know. Yep. And then, so this is another one where Ates is saying that like Satoria was very important to him. Because I think this is when Keela and Ates is like taking the diamond with Satoria's soul, right?
Right. So after Ethos comes out.
Yep. They put Satoria's soul in it.
So Keela goes through the process of like Niktos' grounding Seraphina. Keela goes in for Satoria's soul, and they're able to get Satoria's soul into the star diamond or the star jewel.
Yeah, and then so Ates and Keela are leaving with the diamond and Satoria's soul and everything.
Exactly.
And then that's when like he says it again, like that like nothing bad will happen because like Satoria was very important to him. And I'm still thinking those two were heartmates. And this is another like this is Castile. This is Castile and Poppy. This is who this is right now.
Yeah.
And it's I can't wait to see where this goes. But so basically Nikos and Seraphina are like, okay, let's do the damn thing. Let's take the embers out.
We gotta get these embers out.
You become the true primal of life. Goodbye. I love you. All those kind of things.
Yeah. That was
and sad. So he's almost there and he goes, fuck it. I'm going to ascend you, which is exactly what fucking Castile did.
Yep.
He's like, fuck it. I don't care.
I don't care what you come back as long as you're alive.
Fuck the consequences. And I'm sorry, but that was hot. Anyway.
Totally.
So she's going to descend. And I said, dun, da, da, da. Okay. And then, so I couldn't quite figure out what the fuck was going on. So obviously she's like going into stasis after this, I guess.
Well, and I kept thinking about this, like she's in stasis, right? And okay, I'll let you have a note here. So I'm going to let you continue. Sorry.
No. Okay. And then, so, something about like the ancients are blood and bone.
I know they kept saying that.
I know. So I'm like,
but that they're bad.
The next book, the primal of blood and bone.
Which we know is Poppy. They said that in the last book.
Yes. So is she like the primal of the ancients because she's Satoria because she's so fucking old?
Something.
I
I don't
don't know.
know.
But anyway, but the ancients are the blood and bone, right? And this is somebody's like somebody's saying this like they cannot be brought back. Like that would be really really bad. They can't be brought back. So apparently they're coming back because Poppy is primal of blood and bone.
Yeah, something
So I'm
like
like,
that.
I don't know, but there's a lot going on. I think it's supposed to be confusing.
Probably.
Yeah. And so I guess like she must obviously have finished the culling, right? Because I remember when she's having this fight with Colas about how she's saying something it was very small, like how she had blood in her mouth. And she
Yep.
goes, I wouldn't be surprised if I had a tooth pop out or something. I was like, did she
Yep.
get fangs? Obviously, that's when she
That
got
kept
fucking
happening.
fangs too.
Right. Right.
Yes. So I think she finished the culling
Oh,
right
totally.
before all of this. So she survived it. And then he ascended her anyway.
Well, I think she finished the culling when she was in stasis after he ascends her.
No, I think this was with Colas because she's fighting with Colas and she's saying about how there was blood in her mouth and she wouldn't be surprised if a tooth popped out.
Well, that was the same with Poppy though too. Right before she goes into full stasis to like
Before she goes
fully
into
convince.
stasis.
Yeah,
Oh,
so
see, I
same
thought you
thing
said
with
this was
Seraphina.
while she wasn't.
No,
Okay,
like
sorry.
she got her fangs, then she goes into stasis. And then
Yep.
that's like the actual finishing of the culling. Like
Yep.
100% she's done.
Yep.
Is after she wakes
Exactly.
up from stasis. Same with Seraphina.
Yep.
Okay.
And then so I was like, okay, so she's obviously in stasis and he's sitting there telling her
Mm-hmm.
stories. And
Yep.
so this must be why Niktas was like,
Nectus.
tell her stories, like so she'll remember herself or something like that. And they're like, is it gonna work? And he goes, well, it's worked before.
That's what
So
Niktos did for the consort.
exactly.
Mm-hmm.
Um, so so then at some point she's like awake and aware of what's going on.
And she's back in the Shadowlands.
Yep, they're back in the Shadowlands, and it's
Mm-hmm.
just kind of bangity bang 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 all the way out. And that's
Totally.
kind of the rest of the book, other than damn Shadow Daddy Niktos. He is the Shadow Daddy of
Hell
them all.
yeah. Hell yeah.
Oh,
Mm-hmm.
buddy.
Damn.
When I tell you I put the headphones down for the last couple of chapters and just read them. I think it was like the last two chapters, but I was like, I cannot listen to this and clean baseboards. Like I'm just gonna sit down and read and then call it a day. So but yeah, but they think they are basically of the same soul, which is like heartmates or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
And he calls her the queen of gods and that he is her consort.
Yep.
And then she brushes it off like, oh, that's something to think about later or whatever. Like I'm too busy
Well, she
boning
full
right
no, she
now.
full on she goes, "No, you're not the
Oh, does
consort. You're the
she?
king of the gods." Yeah, he's like, "Well, there's two options. You can either make me your consort or I can be the king of the gods if that's what you desire. You can declare it that I am the king of the gods." And she's like, "Hell yeah, you're the king of the gods." And then that's when they go back to their fun activities as the king and
Right.
queen of the gods.
Yep.
Yeah.
And then basically it's like she's stopped the rot or whatever because Colas is in stasis, or we don't know what's up with Colas, but they're thinking about how they need to entomb Colas.
Hmm.
They have to figure out how to do that. But like that's tomorrow's problem.
That's
The
tomorrow's
end.
problem. Yep.
And I was like, okay, all right.
But okay, I did love how it was like, okay, so because it was back and forth between like, did Niktos actually have his cardia removed or not? And
Yeah.
he actually did. But then he's like, I loved how it was like, okay, but only like my heartmate could nullify that. Yeah, my cardia has been removed, but regardless, I am
Of
still
course.
in love
I
with
thought
you.
that part was cheesy as shit,
Oh, I thought
but
it was the best. That was like, oh,
that makes
I
sense.
loved it.
That makes sense. All right. So any final other thoughts like moving forward?
I mean, just kind of what we talked about. Like,
Yeah.
Satoria's soul is in
Is Is
Poppy.
in Poppy,
It all makes
100%.
so much sense now. And
And
Ates is
Castile and
100%
Ates.
Cat's, yes, he's 100% Castile's ancestor that they keep talking, that Nectus keeps like, oh, you're so much like him. Oh, this makes so much sense.
Which would mean like if Ates dies at some point or dies in the next book, something, that would mean Castile becomes the primal of War and Accord, which would
Yep.
make so much freaking
So much
sense.
sense. So much sense. Yes.
Yep. And then because all of them can shift, primals can shift, that would make sense why he shifted. And it had nothing to do with Poppy.
Yep.
Yep. And then like the pretty little Poppy kind of thing. So I still want to know who the dude at the end of A Soul of Blood and Ash, who
I
that
know.
dude was, because he was the one doing the pretty little Poppy thing.
I have this small theory that it might be Dicey's. I mean, they've talked about him time and time again. He keeps coming
Be.
up here and there, and it was a revenant because it smelt of stale lilacs, right? And it's also the person who comes in when Poppy is in stasis, smells of stale lilacs, and he starts saying the creepy nursery rhyme, and they gets chopped up into Rev Burger and put in the dungeons.
Yep.
And they're gonna question him, and that's what we know so far of him. But I wonder if Dicey's is that
That
is
guy.
that person. Mm-hmm.
That could make sense.
It's the only
Okay.
other revenant that we actually get a name of in these books, and he's always with Callum.
So, yeah.
And I have thoughts on Callum now.
Okay. What do you have?
Conflicting thoughts because I'm like, okay, so I think he is loyal to Satoria. I don't think he is loyal to Colas. I think he was loyal to Colas because of Satoria.
Yeah.
But now that Satoria is in Poppy and Callum is still in the picture, I think Callum's going to have a moment of confliction when Colas comes back to life here or wakes up fully and they fight him because that's going to happen, right? I mean, we
Yeah.
know that's going to happen. I think Callum's going to have this moment where he realizes that Satoria is actually now in Poppy
Yeah.
and he's going to be conflicted on like, do I serve Colas or do I serve my sister here? And I think Callum is going to actually turn and help fight Colas
Oh,
for
100%.
Poppy. Satoria. Yeah.
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 Yeah. I mean, I think we talked about all of our most of our thoughts and theories through it, but
Mm-hmm.
I agree with
Mm-hmm.
all of it.
I can't
It
wait to read the next
just
Flesh and Fire, and I'm so glad we're reading these within because could you imagine reading just Blood and Ash without this information?
I know we wouldn't be nearly as
And I think it would make
hyped up.
reading, and I think it would make reading Flesh and Fire, like if we read it later after Blood and Ash, it would make it boring almost because you're like,
Or
yeah,
if
I
we
already know
read
this, I
this
already know
first and
this.
then Blood and Ash, like I don't think we'd be having at least like just the like when I tell you I gasped about the whole Poppy
Yeah.
situation, like I don't think we'd be able to put two and two together as
No,
well.
no,
So
no, not at all.
I love how this is going. And
Me too.
I really need to start the next one. Um
Yeah.
but do you have anything else?
Nope, that is it for this book.
So what'd you rate it?
I gave 5 out of
5?
5. There was
Yeah.
nothing in this book that irritated me or made me not like it. It was action packed from the beginning and it didn't stop. It was great. It
Yeah.
was great. So
I
many pieces clicked together and yeah, there was a lovely amount of spice in it. Loved it.
Yeah, which was weird. It was strange, but yeah, it was there at the end.
Yep.
And it was definitely a fire emoji or a shadow emoji, shadow fire
Mm-hmm.
emoji. I give it 4.5.
Okay.
I don't know. Like, I don't know. I'm a weird about giving out 5 stars. It was still confusing.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's supposed to be, but there were still some things that like didn't make sense, if that makes sense.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So 4.5 for me, but
Okay.
I mean that's still really high for me. So
Yeah, it is.
uh yeah. And then cry counter.
Still at 1.
Okay, I'm still somehow at
Oh my
2.25.
gosh. There were definitely some
Which is
sad
a
parts
lot.
in this book, and I was like, I
Yeah.
wonder if I'm gonna cry. Yeah, no, I didn't.
Yeah.
No tears, no tears.
Which
But
is funny because I think 2 of my tears are happy tears anyway, which doesn't count,
right.
but it does. It does the way we're rolling. So,
Yep.
all right, I think we're ready.
All right. So we hope that you are all enjoying this series as much as we are. We are first-time readers to this series, so we hope that you are following along with us. Or if you've already read the series, we hope that our discussions can be a refresher for you before you start the Primal of Blood and Bone that is now out.
Make sure you join us on Facebook and Instagram for more fun and conversations, as well as our club on the Fable app where you can discuss with us spoiler free, chapter by chapter. We are setting up for our next series, and we'll be sure to share with you all soon on all of our platforms. It should be a fun one, and I can't wait.
Yes. Our next episode will be another bonus episode in the Flesh and Fire series.
We will be listening to Born of Blood and Ash. We will be discussing it as a whole, like we have done for tonight's episode, as well as the rest of the Flesh and Fire series.
If you are enjoying a reading along with us or just enjoying our conversations and theories, be sure to like this video and hit that subscribe button on your way out.
And buddy reading any book with book besties is so much fun.
So make sure to share our podcast with your book besties. And if you don't have any book besties,
then consider yourself one of ours. And until next time, fill those drinks with ice.
And your books with spice.
Bye.
Bye.